Yo, what's good everybody? Hope you're having a super blessed day and welcome back to Sharpe Sports. So with the football season finally being back upon us, I want to start covering more NFL content here on the channel. So with that being said, I wanted to go over 4 things that we all should have learned after watching last night's Bengals vs. Browns game. Firstly, Joe Burrow is going to be great. In last night's game, Joe Burrow threw the ball 61 times. Last night, Joe Burrow went 37 for 61, completing 60.7% of his passes while throwing for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the most important stat of all of that, he threw the ball 61 times and didn't throw a pick. Now, yes, the Bengals were making beyond conservative play calls for Joe Burrow. He only averaged 5.2 yards a pass. I mean, he threw it 61 times and barely had over 300 yards passing. So clearly they were not trying to put the ball super far downfield, but he was making all the right throws. He was putting the ball on his receivers' numbers. He was making sure that, hey, I'm pretty sure they were perfect on 4th down. And he just looked so poised, calm, and collected out there on the field. He never looked like he was trying to force any passes. I mean, the first pass of the game, he dropped a dime to AJ Green, which, by the way, we'll get into AJ Green here in a second. But he dropped an absolute dime. It was just AJ wasn't able. It was a tough catch and throw, but it was a dot for sure. So Joe Burrow, I mean, he absolutely showed out in last night's game. And this is the second game in a row, even though he is 0 for 2, but this is the second game in a row where he's not only looked very calm, cool, and collected in the 4th quarter, and honestly played some of his best football in the 4th quarter, but in both games, he's put his team in a position to win. Both times that he's lost these 2 games, has been less than 7 points. So he's putting his team in a position to win. He just got to find those 1 or 2 pieces to really get that dub. It also would help if your defense didn't give up 35 points, but that's neither here nor there. And bringing back the topic of AJ Green, Joe Burrow targeted AJ Green 13 times last night and only completed 3 passes to him. So clearly there is a disconnect with Joe Burrow and AJ Green. I mean, they got Tyler Boyd and they got T. Higgins on the field, so they have other receiving options. I hate to say it because I'm a huge AJ Green fan, but AJ Green is on the tail end of his career and he really should not. He should be the Bengals' 3rd option at this point. I mean, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd have proven that they are more complete or just better receivers at this point. Not overall, clearly, because AJ Green is crazy good. But as of right now, they really do need to be focusing on just getting the ball into Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins' hands moving forward. And the second thing that we learned from last night's game is the Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt backfield is simply not fair. Chubb last night had 22 carries for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaged 5.6 yards a carry. And Kareem Hunt came right behind him with 10 carries for 86 yards and a touchdown, and he also had a receiving touchdown, and he was averaging 8.6 yards a carry. Now, fantasy owners are gonna be in fits all year because Chubb's gonna be stealing touchdowns from Hunt, and Hunt's gonna be stealing touchdowns from Chubb. But when it comes to the overall team, to me, the Browns this year have a very similar team to the 2017 Saints where they had Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. I feel like Mark Ingram is more of the Nick Chubb type, the just consistent downfield runner, and Kareem Hunt is more of a receiving option out of the backfield like an Alvin Kamara is. If the Browns are able to keep on playing like this with this backfield that they got, they're gonna be scary. The third thing that we learned from last night's game is that Joe Mixon needs to improve as a runner, as well as he needs to be involved more in the passing game. Last night, Joe Mixon carried the ball 16 times for only 49 yards. That's a 2.9 yard per carry average. Now, Mixon's lack of production really hurt the Bengals, and it was part of the reason why Joe Burrow had to throw the ball 61 times. Now, obviously, Joe Burrow's not going to be throwing the ball 61 times every single week. However, I do see him in that high 30 to 35 range every single week. And hey, Joe Mixon looked nice out of the backfield. I mean, he had 4 catches for 40 yards. That's a 10-yard catch per average. So, hey, I think that they need to get him a couple more passes out of the backfield, help get some guys out of the box, and then he needs to make the most of each and every single run. Now, I will say the Bengals offensive line last night was porous to say the best, bro. They were letting so many of the Browns defenders get into the backfield, and there was not a whole lot of running lanes for Joe Mixon to run into. However, being the top 10 back that everybody has him projected as, he should be averaging closer to 70 to 80 yards rushing and not only 50, especially when you have 16 carries. And the fourth and final thing that we learned from last night's game is that Baker Mayfield can be great if the Browns can keep him clean. The Browns gave up 0 sacks last night to Baker Mayfield, and this is coming from the team that gave up the most sacks last year. So as we can all see, Baker Mayfield can do some damage when he has a clean pocket and time to throw the ball, just like most NFL quarterbacks, but that's not here nor there. I think something that a lot of people forgot, especially after Baker Mayfield's pedestrian sophomore season, at least I know I did. Coming out of college, Baker Mayfield was known for his highly accurate arm, and we got to see that last night. He was dropping dime after dime after dime. I mean, out routes, boom, on the money. He was putting the ball everywhere that it needed to be. I mean, that 40-yard bomb that he threw to OBJ, that was a dot. I mean, he was absolutely picking apart the Bengals defense, and that was because he had time to throw the ball. If the Browns offensive line can continue to play the same way that they did last night, Baker Mayfield is going to continue to develop into the quarterback that we thought he was going to turn into after his rookie year. And the Browns are going to, hands down and by far and away, lead the league in team rushing, because they have all the weapons. If that offensive line is able to stay healthy and stay sturdy and not let 4, 5, 6 guys get into the backfield every single play, then Baker Mayfield can lead that team very far. And that Browns offense is looking kind of scary. Like I said, 2017 Saints, if you go look back at the 2017 Saints, they really do remind me of this 2020-2021 Browns team. All right, y'all, but with that being said, those are the 4 things that we all should have learned from last night's game with the Browns versus the Bengals. If you guys like this video idea and want to see me do more of these, be sure to leave this video a like. Also, comment down below which game in this upcoming week are you guys most excited for. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications so you don't want to miss any of the videos that we drop on the channel. And with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.